truth is too obvious now to be just another conspiracy theory. COVID-19 is the biological 9/11 of Israel. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Coronavirus is coming, tweets Marco in 2013. Sylvia Brown predicts a 2020 pandemic in her End of Days book. 1981, Dean Koontz writes The Eyes of Darkness, which also predicts a 2020 Wuhan 400. Israel is the first country to warn its citizens not to travel abroad over coronavirus fears. Our game from 1990s predicted the coronavirus. Bill Gates predicted coronavirus-type pandemic could kill millions in 2019 in a Netflix documentary. The Simpsons cartoon in 1993 predicted the coronavirus. Here's what Michael Shudowoski has to say, who's an award-winning professor of economics at the University of Ottawa, founder and director of the Center for Research on Globalization in Montreal. The stock value of airlines companies collapses overnight. Those who had foreknowledge of Trump's March 11 decision to ban transatlantic flights from European Union countries made a bundle of money. It's called short selling in the derivative market. Among other speculative ops, institutional speculators, including hedge funds with inside info, had already placed their bets. Massive transfer of money wealth has occurred amongst the largest in world history, leading to countless bankruptcies, not to mention the loss of lifelong savings engineered through the collapse of financial markets. Scientific analysis revealed by Larry Romanoff suggests that the virus was made in America. In February, the Japanese Asahi News report, print and TV claimed the coronavirus originated in the US, not in China, and that some of the 14,000 American deaths attributed to influenza may have in fact resulted from the coronavirus. March 12, in a statement to the US Congress House Oversight Committee, CDC Director Robert Redfield unwittingly spilled the beans. He candidly admitted, yes, some cases diagnosed as seasonal flu could have been coronavirus. The statement is corroborated by both Japanese and Taiwanese virologists, two countries which are staunch allies of the US. Siding with the coronavirus lockdown in Italy, 30,000 US troops have been dispatched to the European Union under US NATO's Defend Europe 2020 war games against Russia in the largest military deployment since World War II. COVID-19 is the pretext for the implementation of a carefully designed operation supported by media disinformation, which destabilizes national economies, impoverishes large sectors of the world population, and literally undermines the lives of millions of people. What we are dealing with is an act of war. Here's what Philip Giraldi has to say. He's a former CIA counterterrorism specialist and military intelligence officer who served 19 years overseas in Turkey, Italy, Germany, and Spain. He was the CIA chief of base for the Barcelona Olympics in 1992 and was one of the first Americans to enter Afghanistan in December 2001. Scientists at Israel's Galilee Research Institute are now claiming that they will have a vaccine against coronavirus in a few weeks, which will be ready for distribution and use within 90 days. This is once extensive biological weapons research center in Fort Detrick, Maryland, partnered with Israel in helping to develop the virus. That would also explain how Israeli scientists have been able to claim success at creating a vaccine so quickly, possibly because the virus and the treatment for it were developed simultaneously. Here's what Mark Dubowitz, executive director of the Washington-based but Israeli government-connected Foundation for Defense of Democracies, boasted on Twitter, that coronavirus has done to Iran what American economic sanctions could not: shut down non-oil exports. What Peter Koenig has to say. He's an economist and geopolitical analyst who's worked for over 30 years with the World Bank and the World Health Organization around the world. COVID-19 pandemic, the real danger is Agenda ID 2020. ID Agenda 2020 is an electronic ID program that uses generalized vaccination as a platform for digital identity. Post-vaccination, nanochip injection, 100% digital money, totalitarian state. Bill Gates, World Economic Forum, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Morgans, Kissinger, Bilderberg Society. Weeks after the computer simulation at Johns Hopkins Medical Center in Baltimore, Maryland, that produced, aka simulated, 65 million deaths, the COVID-19 virus first appeared in Wuhan. By now, it is almost certain that the virus was sent to Wuhan from outside, most likely from a biowar lab in the US. Outbreak in China was targeting the Chinese genome. Did it later mutate to transgress the borders of Chinese DNA? When did that happen, if it happened? Because at the beginning, it was clear that even the infected victims of different parts of the world were to 99.9% of Chinese descent. The Iranian COVID-19 virus was an enhanced form of MERS, which is Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, man-made, that broke out first in Saudi Arabia in 2012, directed to the Arabic genome. Goal of regime change by COVID-19 caused death. Ukraine is host to some 5 high-security US biowar labs. They test regularly new viruses on the population. Yet when strange diseases break out in the surroundings of the labs, nobody's allowed to talk about it. Something similar is happening in Georgia, where there are even more Pentagon, CIA biowar labs, and where also new and strange diseases break out. For Peter, they want people to come to the point of help, give us vaccinations, display police and military for our security. World order, global financial hegemony, full spectrum dominance, plan for a new American century. Mehdi Hassan asked Dr. Eric Ding, who's a Harvard epidemiologist, do the likes of Trump and Boris potentially have blood on their hands? Dr. Eric Ding said, I think so. He again asked, can we say there are people dead who might be alive if governments had handled it differently? Dr. Eric Ding said, I am pretty confident that is. Romanov has already proven that the virus originated in the US. The military's main biolab at Fort Detrick, Maryland, due to an absence of safeguards against pathogen leakages, issuing a complete cease and desist order to the military. It was immediately after this event that the e-cigarette epidemic arose. This is the New York Times. Deadly germ research is shut down at Army lab over safety concerns. USA is the only one known to have all 5 types of COVID-19 strains, from which all others must have descended. It is proven beyond doubt that COVID-19 is the biological 9/11 of Israel, and very much an inside job of US government. This is not all. They are on the verge of launching World War III as the world is forced to quarantine itself. We must unite now to stop the global enslavement agenda. We must defeat COVID-19. We must disallow ID 2020. Do not allow them to gain any power over any of us. China, Italy, Iran, South Korea, Spain, and now USA. Support one another, join hands. Do not panic, do not freak out, because this is exactly what they want. Make a plan, build a strategy to undo their agenda. Expose them, de-energize them now. Do not let them start World War III.